Good morning there, it's Josh here from Racing to Profit. I hope you've had a good start to the weekend. It is 27 minutes past 10 in the morning as I speak to you, and I thought, what better way to start the day than go through the Cheltenham card and find all the winners on what looks a pretty easy card for this track as usual. Oh, what a puzzle. Right, you will see in the free post that I have tipped Visconti du Noyer, or however you say his name, for Colin Tizard, who again these days is one of those trainers a bit like Philip Hobbs, who never kind of seems to be out of form. And I think he's going great guns again. As we can see here, decent 6 from 32. And kind of what 44% have been winning or placing in the last 14 days. He's already had a winner at this meeting, so that's a good sign. He just looks interesting. I've gone for in these two horses, as you can see in the write-up, those with enough chasing experience, and particularly chasing experience at Cheltenham. You'll see that he won in November this time last year. That was his first run after a break, his first run of the season. He's only a couple of pounds higher. I think he has the pace, as you can see, with some of these runs over 16 furlongs and wins over 21. His run at Punchestown. I think he's got the pace and the speed for this trip on this ground, but also stays further. He generally jumps quite well. He tracks the pace. And for me, just looks solid at a double figure price, which is important. And the other one I will mention quickly as I've moved this clock above the video so I can keep on time and make sure I do not drone on for too long, is Cogri, who will be the death of me. As Ian actually from Speculate to Accumulate has just commented, which I didn't actually notice, under Sam Twiston Davis, he has yet to fall, actually. He's 4 from 8, 5 places when Sam rides him, which is decent enough and boosts my confidence a bit further. He has form at the track. He can front run. I think they'll try to run with him. If he can get into a rhythm on the front end, we could have some fun. It is simply, well, pretty much is about his jumping. If he has a fluent round, you can see how smart he is. He went very close to winning the Scottish Grand National before just being outstayed by the previous year's winner. And all in all, when he gets it together, he's pretty smart, he's pretty decent, he's got decent track form. He was well backed when falling at the first in this exact race last year. He will be fit, that won't be a problem. Twiston Davis is going okay. Certainly not out of form. And yeah, he just looks solid. The reason for taking on some of the others is mainly price based. I had a short list. Those two are pretty much the biggest prices, and they're the two most likely to race on the speed and prominently, which generally any track, any handicap chase, ideally is where I want to be. If I think it's going to be a kind of steady enough pace and not a burn up, which I think this might be, I think they'll go an okay pace. And Cogri, because he has the class, if I show you the pace map and the kind of things I look at, Son of Presenting normally leads and be up there, but I'm not sure his legs go quick enough, or he is has the class enough to live with a Cogri if he wants to take it on up the front end. I could have that wrong, but they may be first and second and 1-2 throughout this race for a little time. Colog has front run, but is normally kind of held up off the pace and was when he won this race. Robin's first, I'd be surprised given his inexperience if they bob him out to the front, but they might. Perfect candidate on this ground, first run of the year, and his age. I don't think will have the pace to be up there without doing too much or going too fast. So I think Cogri will be up there and have the chance to lead if he wants. The likes of Single Farm Payment, you can see he's got a very good chance, but looks too short for me given the fitness question and the fact that he is generally held up. And he can be a bit buzzy. He could win this well, but I can live with that at 5-1. Doing Fine is a proper hold-up horse. I don't really want to back him at single odds in a race like this. I think he would prefer further, ideally. And there may be horses better suited to this test today. So yeah, that's that really. That's that race. I think it's between the Comte de Noir, Single Farm Payment, Kulog, and Cogri, with the likes of Robin's Firth looking interesting but not necessarily having the experience for me. That's why I'm leaving him at single figure odds, all about context of price, and Doing Fine for the reasons stated. I'd be slightly miffed and surprised if something else won this, but I have been wrong quite a lot and quite badly on some of my last few races that I've looked at. So who knows? Right, that's the 2 o'clock. Main focus from now for the next kind of 5 minutes will be on the handicap. So I'm not going to focus too much on this race at all. Yeah, 4 to 5 shot, not a race I'll be betting in. I'll watch it, get your notebook out, just enjoy a race at Cheltenham. Not a race to bet, and you can see from the speed figure there that Bedrock on paper has done the best so far, and you can see why his price is his price. You don't really want my thoughts, excuse me, on non-handicaps like that. Certainly not novice hurdles or maiden hurdles are not kind of races I play in at all. This one, the 310, I'm simply going to focus on. I did some stats, big meeting research for my members' notes. They found a few placed horses, a 4-to-1 winner for Nichols, and Tim Vaughan's 12-to-1 winner they highlighted, which I didn't back because before yesterday Tim Vaughan was 0 from 151 at Cheltenham. So I'm very pleased for him, as were every trainer and kind of connections that were at Cheltenham, I think. So he's got that monkey on his back, off his back, and he may now fire in a few more. That's the way these things can go. But what I'm going to focus on here in the 310 are 2 horses which hit some of the micro angles that I looked at for this meeting, generic micro angles, non-trainer ones based on the profile of the horse for race conditions, and that is Sizing Platinum, who ticks a lot of boxes. He is 9, has gone up 12 pounds from that. Easy, facile success in a kind of fairly weak race last time out. Whether or not that is enough to collar him, I'm not 100% sure. He is a double-figure price, and because of his place on my system qualifiers and things, unless he drifts markedly further, I may have a play. He got outclassed by Fox Norton in this race last year. That was off an £8 lower mark. He has gone close to novice off 143. That's hard to judge in terms of handicaps. This is his highest handicap mark. Because he's never run from it, it's impossible to say he can't win from it. And with that mindset, you're then judging about price. Clearly, he does have to go and do something different. But he might be a better horse than he was last year. Tizard may know him a bit better. He may know how to train him a bit better. And it could be this year that he steps forward again. You'd think there might be something else better handicapped in here, and that may be the second horse of interest in this race. For me, simply on the stats, and this one is based around the record of 5-year-olds at this meeting, is Cobra Demay, who is unexposed, is fit and in form, and we saw what that can do for you with the likes of the Donald McCain winner of the Amateur Riders Handicap Chase yesterday. He was hard fit from summer racing, as is this horse. He's only had 4 chase runs. He's won 3. He's got some experience. Yes, it's small field, and he can be held up, or he can make calls. So I hope they race him prominently. But there really is a touch of there could be anything about him. What mark is he off? Is on 134 still. He could be very well handicapped. Dan Skelton's horses have been running well recently and at this meeting. So that will do. Those are the 2 that I will be having a nibble on. Nothing crazy. Is there anything else I want to highlight? Le President, short enough. I generally 5-to-1, 6-to-1 and lower in races and Cheltenham handicaps isn't a place that I personally want to go, especially one that is returning after a break. He looks fairly short based on his last 3 runs. Maybe this is the time of year to catch him, and he has a bit about him, but I can leave him. Same as for double W's, who I've never been too convinced about. Were he 10-to-1, maybe I'd have a bit of a think. But yeah, based on the stats, I'm not going to do an over kind of in-depth form analysis or tie myself up in knots. It's Sizing Platinum at the odds and Cobra Dema at the odds, who tick 2 of my or are the 2 qualifiers from my stats and big meeting notes for the October meeting, the showcase meeting here. Then we move on to the 3:45, the network, Patem's Network Handicap Hurdle Series qualifier. Some of these will be just attempting to finish in, is it top 8, top 10, wherever you have to finish to qualify for the final. There's probably a bit of a longer shortlist on here. There are 4 who look most interesting and who qualify against various stats of mine. What a Night, who I will have a bet on because he comes here fit and in form, and so does Harry Fry, and that might count for plenty. You can see there he's got, well, needs to step forward. He's an 8-year-old. Let's have a look. He's only had 6, so he's only had 6 handicap hurdle runs. There's a chance there could be more to come one day. He is already a Class 2 winner in a big field, so he ticks my stats, so that will do. Thomas Campbell does, but he's 4-1 in a Class 2 handicap hurdle at Cheltenham for a trainer who isn't necessarily firing on all cylinders at the moment. Thank you very much. I can leave that. I can live with him bolting up. Corenta for John Joe ticks plenty of my stats and will definitely be being backed. The trip's an unknown. He may not stay, but he's unexposed over it. He ticks 5-year-old stats. He ticks some of my main member stats and advised strategies. It's John Joe. He does very well in Class 2 handicaps at the non-festival meetings at Cheltenham. And yeah, I'll be backing him. So that's another one on my list who ticks plenty of stats. I don't need to tie myself in knots about the horse too much. Again, he's hard fit. He comes here on the back of a win and is open to more improvement. Stick to the Plan is also on that list. 15-2, I'm a bit on the fence, but again, he is unexposed. There could be plenty to come. He unseated rider when going to win last time out. They may have snuck him in here. It's hard to know how good he is or how bad he is. But again, he ticks quite a few stats. And looks interesting, as does Temple State Floresco, who is more of a staying chaser. He's on the same mark as when kind of hacking up or winning well in the Uttoxeter Summer Cup when he was tipped. He was one of the summer winners that made up 35 points of profit, which I'm doing my best. That was over the summer, I should add, which I'm doing my best to give back on the tips. But one of these two of the 2 p.m. will be bolting up, so no worries there. So yeah, he is interesting because he is unexposed in handicap hurdles. He will stay. He may relish the conditions. He's fit. He looks interesting. He's done nothing but kind of improve, just as my computer crashes there. The joys of recording these live. Hopefully this will start back up again. There we go. So yeah, Temple State looks interesting. I think the two that look most interesting at the odds, well, the three, I should say, are What a Night, Temple State Floresco, and Corenta. And I think I'll be having darts on all of those at various amounts, somewhere between 5s and 10s, and probably a saver or something on Stick to the Plan. Those are the 4 who look most interesting. It's a 19-runner race. I don't mind throwing 5s at 4 horses for a bit of fun. That's what it's all about. Corenta ticks a couple of more stats from my main members and probably will get a bit more than £5. All of that will be on the nose. No need to mess around with each way bets when you're playing with 5s and 10s, in my opinion. And when you're backing that many horses, I'd rather just go for it and kind of, yeah, go hard or go home. That's how I like to approach these things. Probably foolish, but that's the nature of the game and how I play it. So that's that. They're kind of the 3 main races, actually, all mainly about the handicaps for me. You've got a novice chase here. I have no idea. I don't really care, to be honest. I will watch it with interest. I'll watch it with a notebook. I'll watch with an eye on jumping, how they're travelling, how they may take to the track for any future notes or occasions when they may turn up in a handicap here, or indeed somewhere else. So whatever you think on that, I have no views, as I don't with the jumpers novice, the junior jumpers novice hurdle. A couple of shortlies there at 2-1. The market normally guides clearly in these type of non-handicaps. It's mainly more about class, which I don't really have class eyes, as I call them. I do not play in these type of races. I'm generally a handicap punter, as you know. And there are many better judges of these types. If you're going on speed ratings alone, then Callet Mad, who actually does tick a load of stats for my meeting notes and various other different things. But he's 2-1. I won't be betting in that race. I will be watching. Then we get on to the National Hunt flat race. As I tick round to 14 minutes, we'll get this done within 15. What I should say is, the last 5 winners, the last 5 years, only horses that have had a previous run under rules have won this. Those that haven't raced under rules before are 0 from 26, 3 places. I've got the notes down somewhere. So you may want to focus on those that have had a run. So that is the likes of Mighty Thunder, who ticks one of my stats, actually, in terms of for the meeting. Way Out West, Brian Storm, which is he's well named after Storm Brian. That might be a sign. Cracking Destiny hasn't. That's point to point form. He hasn't. He hasn't. He definitely hasn't. Samson the Man's. We've got Mighty Thunder, Way Out West, Brian Storm, Samson the Man, That might be it. And Pure Affection, I should say, who's been running at Worcester and Stratford. So there's 5 there of some interest, simply based on the fact that, as I'm clicking away while thinking, hold on. Yes, you've got those 5 who, simply based on recent trends, so this race has gone to those that have had experience. Now, clearly, the market is suggesting that none of these have got the hope in hell, and that there are some well-fancied unraced horses from big yards who have probably clearly done well in points or something. It may be that the market is right there, and this is a year where an unraced horse on the rules dots up and enters all the notebooks and is very exciting for the future. But if you want to go with history, you may want to focus on these particular 5. The Cinder Russell is 0 from 30 at the track in the last 30 days. Only 2 from 36 with horses having their second career run. So that might be a bit of a downer. Of course, these 2 having won carry a penalty as well, which might be no good thing against some of these. This one's also had a trainer change. You can see some of the stats there. So Brian Storm might be interesting, I should say. Richard Johnson, this is his second run. This may have been a target. He may come on plenty for it. Although he was well fancied the last day. I'm clicking around to 16 minutes, but hey ho. Hopefully you may find this of some use. National Hunt Bumpers I wouldn't normally play in unless at a meeting like this and I have some stats to help me out. Samson the Man, he's interesting, as you know, he's probably his price because of the trainer. And Pure Affection's interesting because Ian Williams is in form, and I suppose he's fit as well. Well, it got experience. He has been off the track for 97 days. Maybe if I ignored the 2 with penalties, who might have a bit of a challenge on, those 3 there for kind of £2.50 or £2 bets at Betfair starting price might be what I do for a bit of fun. By this time, I may be crying into a big pit of misery, having done my proverbial punting nether regions. And yeah, it could have been a long day by this point. Excuse me. But yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's 17 minutes. That's a quick run through, as quick as you're going to get through a card like that. There are a few horses, mainly in the handicaps, that I'm interested in. You know what I'll be backing. You'll know if I've had a good day or not, or whether I need consoling or a day off tomorrow. So yes, we shall see. What's happening the rest of the weekend? I'm off to Aintree tomorrow, which is only 20 minutes up the road by train from where I live in the centre of Liverpool, so that's quite good. I will have a good look at that card. It looks like it's going to be very competitive. But it should be great fun, and there should be plenty to get stuck into. So I may do another video. I'll definitely have a look at the old Rowan Chase, I should think, and there's a couple of other handicaps. So we shall see. I will use my eye at the track, which is a bit dodgy, but sometimes at this time of year, a horse can just jump out at you at the track, even if you're not very good at spotting such things, which I'm definitely a novice on that front. So that would be good. And you can probably follow me on Twitter if you wish, because I probably may tweet from the paddock side, but we shall see. So yeah, with that said, I will say thanks for watching, and until the next time, this is Josh saying bye for now. And of course, as always, good luck with any bets.